Just gives her a reference point. So this next one helps to activate the muscles on the shoulder blade behind the shoulder to help to maintain the posture of the shoulder more in a retracted position. So if you bring your elbows back, position, keep your shoulder blades against the wall and your forearms parallel to the wall, and you're just going to elevate from that position. So it's a functional movement as well. So while she's pushing her arms up, she tries to keep her forearms back against the wall as tight as you can. So these muscles are activating as she's elevating. And this is a good one to do for bodybuilders that tend to be protractive and have shortened anterior muscles and lengthened posterior muscles. And this is like a re-education exercise, so she can do it every day. What about five times, 3 lots of 5 would be great. Once a day. Okay. This next exercise now involves a muscle that helps to control the shoulder blade. You can see the shoulder blade winging out there. So we want to activate this muscle and strengthen this muscle. So this particular type of plank does that. So if you protract right up, Charlotte, that's it. Push and hold. See, she's protracting the shoulder blade round in the shoulder. Just to strengthen and hold using this muscle, and then sink back down again slowly. Control, that's it. And then push out again. Charlotte's okay. If that muscle was really weak, she wouldn't be able to do that. And so we have to work on that. That's great. Okay. This next exercise is to improve coordination and activation of this serratus muscle again. So we're trying to maintain the posture in the shoulder blade. So as Charlotte's pushing her arms forward in an arc, she tries to keep her forearms parallel to the floor. So her elbow's staying level, it's not dropping. The wrist isn't dropping, everything's staying parallel. That's good. So this muscle has to activate to stop the scapula from winging backwards. While she's doing it on the flexi-ball as well, she's having to maintain a balance. You could probably do 10 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets just to reinforce it. And again, it's not primarily a strengthening exercise, it's more of a coordination exercise, so she could do this exercise daily until the shoulder blade re-educates. So with regard to posture and stretching, again, when you think how many hours we're standing up with gravity pulling us downwards and compressing our joints together, if you think about the spine, the hips, the knees, the ankles, we very seldom, in fact, if ever, give it negative pressure. So we might counterbalance that by lying flat when we go to sleep, but we never give anything negative pressure. And it's been proven that you can actually open up the disc space slightly. It improves the circulation of synovial fluid to lubricate the joints if you apply negative pressure to a joint. So one way we can do this when we're thinking about the spine, the hips, the knees and the ankles is to turn you upside down. So we've got this inversion table to do that. So we'll do it very slowly, just gradually. Obviously make sure you don't do it to anybody with blood pressure problems. So that's a total inversion. Start off with a couple of minutes, really, if you're going to use an inversion table. Just gradually build up to about 5 minutes. The first time you do it, all the blood seems to rush to your head, so it's a bit claustrophobic as well. When I first used to start stretching my back, it was just for about 2 minutes. I'm now up to about 5 minutes now. Thinking about another common problem that bodybuilders tend to get, other athletes as well, like runners and footballers, but this is a common problem called anterior knee pain. And there's 5 main reasons for anterior knee pain. Obviously with the bodybuilders, it can be overuse. You can get damage to the tendon at the front of the knee. But it can also be through biomechanical problems and changes. Sometimes for whatever reason, sometimes a back problem, the gluteal muscles can be reduced in activity or weaker. And also the band that runs down the side of the hip can be really tight. That develops tight. When the muscles develop, obviously through fascial tension, ligamentous and tendon tension, these bands can become tight and affect the pull of the muscles around the kneecap. So you can have one muscle pulling or tighter than another muscle, and then the other muscle on the inside of the kneecap is shut down and is inactive. That causes the kneecap to track outwards, causes an abnormal pull on the knee, and that can develop into anterior knee pain. Another problem is, obviously as a result of the tightness in the hip and down the knee, the expansion of the tendons around the side of the knee can become tight and inhibiting this muscle here from working properly. So you get an imbalance in the kneecap. The other factor to look at is your ankle posture. If you have a tendency to pronate the ankle in, that can again cause an imbalance higher up the chain in the knee. So we'll look at 5 exercises we can use to rehabilitate this problem. So the first one, to activate a weakness or a shutting down of this muscle on the side of the glute, which takes your hip out to the side, but is really strongly functioning when you squat or when you do leg press, but mainly when you squat. If this muscle shuts down, then the knee can put a lot of stress on the knee. So to switch it back on again, we do this particular exercise. So we're going to do a bridging. So you put your arms up to the ceiling, and John's going to push down through his feet and bridge up in a nice straight line. At the same time, he's taking the knees out and statically contracting these muscles whilst he's bridging, and then down slowly. So he keeps the knees in that position, so there's what we call an isometric static contraction of the gluteal muscles whilst he's bridging up. This next exercise is designed to activate this muscle that runs on the inside, pulling the kneecap back that way. So, as I mentioned before, if the tension's too tight on this side, it tends to pull the kneecap over and this muscle tends to switch off. So if we lock out from there to a full lockout, you can see the muscle activating there on the inside. So it's the last 25-30 degrees of lockout. So we hold it tight for about 3 seconds at the top to get a maximum contraction. This is called the VMO muscle, or the vastus medialis obliquus, and it's the one that comes at this angle. And it's the one that really stops your knee from giving way, that really activates strongly when your knee extends. We'd actually add some resistance to his ankle here, unless he was really weak, so we could put ankle weights on, and then eventually move on to a leg extension machine once he got stronger and it was activating well. This will also help to realign the kneecap up. So one of the tests we do inside lying to check the tension of this band that runs down over the hip and down to the knee is lying with the hips forward and the legs straight out. Now if I let this leg go down now, as you can see John's leg is touching the floor. If it was stuck in that position, when we tend to do it on the couch, you can tell how much tension there is there. It's quite loose, that one. But if it was stuck in a horizontal position, there would be tension in this IT band if it was stuck in that position. And we can use our fascial release techniques to loosen it off, and then we'll also use a stretching technique now. So if you stand up, John. So it's pushing the right hip out, bringing the right arm over and side bending. Be careful not to flex too much of the torso. In fact, if you extend back a little bit further, you'll see you can get more of a pull on it there. Hold for 30 seconds. So he's using his left hip to push the right hip out as well. So, okay. This exercise is a good exercise for anterior knee pain.